I'm here with Susan Nichols, and this is her home, and she is doing a total remodel. And we're adding stained glass, and she's doing some fun things. Susan, tell us what's going on here.
We decided we had a dishwasher leak, and we've wanted to remodel for a while, and so it was time. So following the happy accident with the dishwasher leak, we pulled out all the kitchen cabinets. We had a drop ceiling with a light box in it, which I had never liked. So we decided to take the ceiling up a foot. We moved a wall back 5 feet, and we're in utter chaos. And in 3 weeks, it should be very beautiful. But we're getting to the point where we're just ready to paint. Electrical and drywall are just completed, and I'm beginning the paint. In my paint clothes now. I'm beginning the paint job today, and should be done with paint by Monday. And we start new flooring on Monday. And very excited to get these beautiful cherry cabinets and have some beautiful glass and a beautiful transom that I did not even know we would have until the wall was framed. And then I realized that was the most obvious spot for glass, for a transom.
Fantastic. And have to tell you, Susan knows how to find deals. So throughout this whole thing, she has found the perfect deal, and things have come into place just perfectly, and I can't wait to see the finished product.
Me too! And to cook a meal.
Yay.
My family's waiting anxiously for a delicious Sunday meal, which I promise the first Sunday after the kitchen's finished. Very best I can make.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good luck.
Thanks, Jeannie.
You know, in the past I've shown people how to install glass using silicone, but I've never shown anybody or talked about how to remove glass. Well, it so happens that I've got a couple of panels that need to be taken out of these cabinet doors that they were installed in, because they're going to be placed in new doors. Well, I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you how to go about doing that. And so you're of course going to want to set up on a nice flat solid surface, and then you want a good quality utility knife. And with this utility knife, you want that baby to be sharp, and you want a nice thick blade. In other words, you don't want to be using an X-Acto knife. Those craft knives are just too thin. Okay, now as you work on it, you're going to have to use quite a bit of force. And so I've already gone around one time and scored this silicone, but now I'm going to do it again. And as you pull, you want to push down as tightly as you can down onto the surface of the wood, and it's going to take quite a bit of force to get right down through the silicone and into the wood. Now you want to do it each direction, and I'm trying to stay as close to the glass as I can as I pull along here. And in fact, some of the copper foil does actually get skinned off. Over here it's really quite tight, and I'm being aware of, if I slip, I don't want to hit myself with the knife. So I try to draw it in such a way that if I slip, I'll miss myself as a safety precaution. And then the other thing is, I am wearing safety glasses, because these blades, especially when you're pushing on it this hard, they can easily break. All right, now I've got that broken loose, but it's still not going to come out. You know, it's a funny thing. People write to us after we talk about installing stained glass using silicone, and they wonder if it'll really stay. Will it really stick? Well, I'm here to tell you, if it's this hard to take it out, it's going to stick. Now, I've got a good solid putty knife. This is a really good thick blade. Once again, I'm going with a thick bladed knife. And now what I'm going to do is I take the knife and I'm going right along the lead line here, in between the lead line and the frame, and I'm pushing down. Now, I push down through the silicone and get down to the bottom of the wood frame, but I do not pry. I don't want to do that because, you know, there's still some of that silicone is still in there holding on, and if I pry, then I run the risk of cracking that outside edge of glass. Okay, now I've done it on that one. Now I'm just going to flip this up, and there we go. Okay, you see how I wiggle the knife down into it, and it's and on this side it's going down pretty easily. Okay. Now I've saved the best or the worst for last because, you know, this has got a lot of surface area of glass back behind it, and so fortunately, I'm going to be cutting this anyhow. So even if I crack it, oh, that was a surprise. Well, it came right out. What I was going to say is that you then start to pry it bit by bit and go around and gradually pry it up. But I can't show you how that works because it just popped out. Anyhow, there it is. The glass is now removed, and now I can measure it. I think that this panel is the right width for the window that I've got, but I still have to cut most of the top off and a little tiny bit of the bottom. But that's how you do it. And I think if anything, you can tell that the silicone will really hold your glass in place for sure. Okay, this is the most basic of all stained glass panel installs because the panel fits directly into the framework. Now this is the frame that we took from Susan's house, and I've already adjusted it so that the panel will fit inside. So now I'm going to use this clear caulk on it. I want you to notice there's a step between, see how this is flat and then there's a step up on both ends. What that means is this is just an old door that wasn't made very well. There's a step here, there's a step here, and one here, and there's not one here because that's part of the place where I routed it out. So what that's going to do is cause a gap on the other side. So we'll fix that when we get to it. First thing I want to do, I'm putting in this caulking. This is a clear caulk, goes on white. I want to put enough caulking in here so that the window is somewhat supported. Now this window fits in really tight. I would prefer that it have a little bit more wiggle room, but that just wasn't going to happen with this particular install. Okay, so now it's dropped in place. Now I'm going to go around with a thin bead to seal it up. I don't have to be too worried about this since it's going to dry clear. But you know, I want to do my best work as I do it. I feel like this is quite an easy install since usually when we're doing cabinet doors, we're doing, you know, 19 or 20 of them. Okay, now. That first pass, I was getting it smooth against the wood. I need a little more. There's a little bit of a gap right there. Okay, now I go back and get it smooth and cleaned off of the glass. Now when this dries, it can easily be scraped off with a razor blade, but you might as well try and get it off. Might as well get it off while you can, and then maybe you don't even have to mess with a razor blade. Okay, now that takes care of that side, but now I've got to stand it up, and I want you to see this. See how there's kind of a gap down in here? What I'm going to do, I think let's see, my toolbox, it'll probably, if I just put the toolbox down like this, then I can rest the glass, so the glass is resting on here but not the frame, so the glass won't come out. Now I can just go in and squirt a little bit of a bead of caulking in there, and that should compensate nicely for those gaps in the woodwork. This is not something that you normally have to do. Usually, we put glass into cabinet doors that are really precision made. But this came out of an old antique. And who knows what kind of tools they had back in those days. So now we'll just smooth that up. Well, here's an example of a window that we put in a door that was very precision made. And you'll see that there's no way that we needed to put any extra filler in, because the glass just fit right up against the framework. And then on the back side of it, you can see how nicely the clear silicone just dried up and pretty much disappeared. But the same technique was used as I just demonstrated. So there you have it.
Perspective.
Well, here we are back at Susan Nichols' house, and we are very excited to see the latest of her kitchen. It's absolutely beautiful. So Susan, what do you have anything to say about how you like it or how it went?
It was a hard, long process, long 4 months, but the kitchen turned out beautifully. The cherry wood turned out gorgeous. I love all the glass in the kitchen, the quarter glass and the flute glass and the transom.
Putting that silicone in there, Jeannie.
We should have done before and after the cabinet too.
Well, you'll do another one. So.
We should have done before and after.
I did take pictures of the cabinet before,
Oh, good.
so.
I hope it's gonna look pretty with my. I hope that the cornice is gonna look good. Yeah, I still like that old
So
window.
where does it go? Just